What science tells us about improving middle school. Charlottesville, Virginia. In a middle school hallway in Charlottesville, Virginia, a pair of 6th grade girls sat shoulder to shoulder on a lime green settee, creating comic strips that chronicled a year of pandemic schooling. Using a computer program called Pixton, they built cartoon panels, one of a girl waving goodbye to her teacher, clueless that it would be months before they were back in the classroom, another of two friends standing 6 feet apart from one another, looking sad. "We have to social distance," one of the girls, Ashley, said. Then, as if remembering, she scooted a few inches away from her friend, Anna. In classrooms off the hallway, clusters of kids from grades 6 to 8 worked on wood carvings, scrapbooks, paintings, and podcasts, while their teachers stood by to answer questions or offer suggestions. For 2 hours, the students roamed freely among rooms named for their purpose: the maker space, the study, the hub, pausing for a 15-minute brain break at the midway point of the session. Welcome to Community Lab School, a tiny public charter that is trying to transform the way middle schoolers are taught in the Albemarle School District, and eventually the nation. Here, learning is project-based, multi-grade, and interdisciplinary. There are no standalone subjects, other than math. Even in that subject, students are grouped not by grade, but by their areas of strength and weakness. In the mornings, students work independently on their projects. In the afternoons, they practice math skills and take electives. Our day revolves around giving students choice, said Stephanie Passman, the head teacher. We want kids to feel a sense of agency and that this is a place where their ideas will be heard. Anna and Ashley, 6th graders at Community Lab School, create comics depicting their COVID year. Photo by Killia Field for the Hechinger Report. As a laboratory for the Albemarle District, Community Lab School is charged with testing new approaches to middle school that could be scaled to the district's 5 comprehensive middle schools.
The school has been held up as a national model by researchers at MIT and the University of Virginia, which is studying how to better align middle school with the developmental needs of adolescents. Over the last 20 years, scientists have learned a lot about how the adolescent brain works and what motivates middle schoolers. Yet a lot of their findings aren't making it into classroom practice. That's partly because teacher prep programs haven't kept pace with the research, and partly because overburdened teachers don't have the time to study and implement it. Today, some 70 years after reformers launched a movement to make the middle grades more responsive to the needs of early adolescents, too many middle schools continue to operate like mini high schools, on a cells and bells model, said Chad Ratliff, the principal of Community Lab School. Traditional middle schools are very authoritarian, controlling environments, Ratliff said. A bell rings, and you have 3 minutes to shuffle to the next thing. For many early adolescents, and not a few of their teachers, middle school isn't about choice and agency, it's about surviving, said Melissa Wantz, a former educator from California, with more than 20 years' experience. Now, as schools nationwide emerge from a pandemic that upended educational norms and caused rates of depression and anxiety to increase among teenagers, reformers hope educators will use this moment to remake middle school, turning it into a place where early adolescents not only survive, but thrive. This is an opportunity to think about what we want middle school to look like, rather than just going back to the status quo, said Nancy L. Deutsche, the director of YouthNext, the UVA Center to promote effective youth development. Scientists have long known that the human brain develops more rapidly between birth and the age of 3 than at any other time in life. But recent advances in brain imaging have revealed that a second spurt occurs during early adolescence, a phase generally defined as spanning ages 11 to 14. For many middle school students, a return to in-person schooling means a return to a routine that allows no time for play. But, according to researchers, free time is essential to students' mental health in early adolescence. You don't suddenly outgrow the need for play when you're 11 years old, says Peter Gray, a research professor at Boston College. Photo by Amadou Diallo for the Hechinger Report. At Community Lab School, middle school students typically score above average on measures of emotional well-being and belonging, according to Shireen El Malla, a postdoctoral fellow at the University of Virginia who tracks the school's outcomes. Though the community lab students experienced an increase in perceived stress during the pandemic, they generally fared better than their peers at demographically similar schools, she said. Anna and Ashley, the sixth graders on the settee, said the school's close-knit community and project-based approach set it apart. "We're still learning as much as anyone else. They just make it fun, rather than making us read from textbooks all the time," Ashley said.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.